Thompson Construction Group's General Safety and Health Training. In this presentation, we'll go over the basics, including Thompson's goal to go above and beyond OSHA's expectations. We'll also address common construction hazards, personal hygiene, cold and heat stress, insects, vermin, and snakes, fire safety, housekeeping and slips, trips, and falls, and your safety responsibilities as a Thompson employee. OSHA, or the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, was formed in 1970 and is part of the Department of Labor. This government agency creates and enforces guidelines that ensure the safety and health of U.S. workers in construction and general industries. Thompson strives to create a safe and healthy work environment for their employees and consistently goes beyond the minimum OSHA regulations for safety. Here are some OSHA terms to remember. The General Duty Clause describes the employer responsibilities for providing a safe work environment for their employees. And a competent person is defined as a person who is capable of identifying existing and predictable hazards in the workplace and has the authority to take action. Some common construction hazards are falls, struck by, caught in or caught between, and electrocution. Falls are the leading cause of death in the construction industry, and slips, trips, and falls lead the list in general industry. Most fatalities occur when employees fall from open-sided floors and through floor openings. Falls from as little as 4 to 6 feet can cause serious lost-time accidents and sometimes death. 1 in every 4 struck-by vehicle deaths occur in the construction industry, more than any other occupation. If vehicle safety practices are not obeyed at your site, you risk being pinned between construction vehicles and walls, struck by swinging backhoes, crushed beneath overturned vehicles, or other similar accidents. 3 primary factors affect the severity of a shock a person receives when he or she becomes part of an electrical circuit: the amount of current flowing through the body, the path of the current through the body, and the length of time the body is in the circuit. Practicing good personal hygiene is one of the simplest yet most effective ways we can protect ourselves from illness. Always wash both your hands and body. Wash your hands with soap and water before eating, and launder your clothes regularly. To prevent cold stress, you should select proper clothing for cold, wet, and windy conditions. Wear layered clothing. Wear a hat and gloves. Take frequent breaks in warm, dry shelters. Avoid exhaustion and fatigue. Work in pairs, aka the buddy system. And remember, most of your body heat escapes from your head. Covering your head goes a long way in keeping your body warm. The main cause of heat stress is dehydration, or the water our bodies need to produce sweat and cool itself. This may be caused by insufficient water intake, excessive sweating, or a combination of both. Poor physical conditioning, inadequate rest, direct exposure to sunlight, and wearing darker, heavier clothing are all risk factors. The symptoms of heat exhaustion include dizziness, lightheadedness, headache, muscle cramping, and feelings of fatigue. If sweating stops and symptoms persist, the body's core temperature can rise even higher. You then face the risk of heat stroke, which is often fatal. To avoid the hazards of heat, take frequent short breaks and consume as much as a cup of water every 15 minutes. Avoid caffeinated beverages, alcohol, dark and heavy clothing, and direct exposure to sunlight. To protect yourself from harmful insects, disease-carrying vermin, and poisonous snakes, be sure to wear long sleeves, gloves, and protective shoes, especially when working on demolition projects, older existing facilities, and tight, dark, and cool areas. Always check gloves and shoes before putting them on, especially if they are stored outside or in a garage. Always think about location when dealing with insects, vermin, and snakes, and notify your supervisor immediately if you come into contact with any of them. Fire safety is the responsibility of everyone on a job site. Know how to recognize fire hazards and become familiar with emergency action and evacuation plans. OSHA regulations provide for the number and location of exits, that exit doors be free from obstruction, and routes and exit doors be clearly marked. Thompson adds these specific rules regarding fire protection. Travel distance from any point of a protected area to the nearest fire extinguisher be no more than 100 feet. A fire extinguisher must be provided within 50 feet of wherever more than 5 gallons of flammable or combustible liquids or 5 pounds of flammable gas are being used on a job site. No combustible material is to be stored within 10 feet of a structure, and the container must be a clearly marked and approved red combustible material container. Smoking is prohibited at or in the vicinity of operations which constitute a fire hazard, and no smoking must be conspicuously posted. Fire extinguishers must have monthly and yearly inspections. The safety pin must be in place except when used. Fire extinguishers must be conspicuously placed and easily accessible. Housekeeping is the simplest way to maintain a safe work area and prevent slips, trips, and falls. During the course of work, keep all debris clear from work areas, passageways, and stairs in and around buildings and other structures. Combustible scrap and debris must be removed at regular intervals during the course of work. Containers must be provided for the collection and separation of waste, trash, oily and used rags, and other material. Containers used for garbage and other oily, flammable, or hazardous wastes must be equipped with covers. Slipping, tripping, and falling on the job site make up a large percentage of accidents in construction every year. Keep your work site, aisles, and passageways clear. Look out for holes and depressions in working and walking surfaces, and use care when walking up landings, stairs, and on surfaces that are wet, icy, rocky, or otherwise unlevel. Always walk, do not run. Work safely and to the best of your knowledge. Never act in a capacity in which you are not trained to act. Be proactive. Always report incidents, accidents, hazards, and potential hazards immediately. Make safety your first priority and go home safely each and every day.